I'd like to talk about the wider context that Shoreditch finds itself in, which is related to what we're talking about tonight. But Shoreditch has become trapped by two pieces of legislation which effectively is taking away the power from the local authorities and the local community. I'm talking about the Licensing Act of 2003, as well as the London Plan of 2004 and its subsequent revisions. I'm not sure how many people actually live in Shoreditch, but just to give you an idea of the changes, I moved there in the mid-1980s, and at the time we had about 15 licensed premises. That's 15, and they served the local community very well. In the decades since the Licensing Act, there's now 300 licensed premises, and it's basically become a booze tourist destination, and we find we have about, on average 40,000 drunken revelers outside of our bedrooms 3 nights a week. And the reason this is important is because it's driving a lot of people out of the area. A lot of people that love the old buildings and feel passionate about the heritage and the history are actually being driven out. And it's only through active local communities that you get a civilizing effect and a moderating effect upon the insane designs of people trying to take advantage of those sort of situations. So where we stand at the moment is there's a very thin blue line of active citizens involved in the community, and there's more and more being pushed out all the time. It's become, I would say, Magaluf by night and the Klondike by day. And by that, I mean we now have developers crawling all over the area, trying to stake their claim upon our neighbourhood. And they don't just want our homes, they want the skies above our homes as well, which brings me on to the Bishopsgate Goods Yard site. Now, I've been involved in the steering group and the consultations at an early stage, and they're very pleasant affairs. We sit around and drink coffee, but consistently the local community have said, we don't want to be overshadowed. Please respect the community. And the developers have said, well, we really want this to be a development that's part of Shoreditch, not part of the city, but we want it to be part of Shoreditch. Therefore, we value your input, blah, blah, blah. And one of the questions they ask us is, where would you like the low buildings? Where would you like the medium height buildings? Where would you like the tall buildings? Now, anybody that knows anything about Shoreditch whatsoever knows that in our part of town, the tall building is the T building, which is 8 stories. A medium height building is a 4 to 5 story light industrial building. A small building is a 2 to 3 story Georgian terrace. That's the context of our streetscape. So you can imagine our surprise, to put it very mildly, when the plans were unveiled. And in their world, a small building is 16 stories, which is twice the height of the T building. A medium-sized building is a whopping 38 stories. And a tall building is off the scale at 58 stories. I mean, this thing was designed for Hong Kong. It wasn't designed for Shoreditch. It cast an entire neighbourhood into permanent shadow. So that's what we're facing at the moment, and we're going to need all the recruits we can possibly get. And I think the big issue here about the two things that I've mentioned, the Licensing Act and the London Plan, these are beyond the reach of our local authorities. They have to be made issues at the next general election, at the next election for the Mayor of London. It's the only way that we're going to get things changed. And the only way we're going to do that is by local communities across London and actually across the country uniting under one banner and fighting. And I think the East End Preservation Society is a wonderful step in the right direction. So please give it your support. Thank you.